A very good evening. You're listening to the News Roundup on Gold FM.
The top story on Gold FM.
Loss of foreign revenue can affect Sri Lanka's reserve accumulation targets as far as the IMF program is concerned. Further, this can seriously impact the island's credit rating. These views were expressed by the economist Talal Rafi as he commented on what could be the possible ripple effects on Sri Lanka due to the Middle East war. Speaking to us, he first touched on rising energy costs.
Fuel cost, that is going to be a hit because according to the IMF report last year, December, we were expected to spend around $4.5 billion in oil imports. So that was at a rate where a barrel of crude oil was around $70. So now that it's gone up by around 50%, so if this war goes on for another month, so even if the Strait of Hormuz is open today, production, shipping, all to get back to normal will take months. So definitely the hit is going to be well over $500 million. So that is one thing.
Now, as far as foreign remittances are concerned, this is what Rafi had to say.
Half of our remittances come from the Middle East. So the longer this thing sustains, because most of those cities in the Gulf countries, they're dependent on food imports and desalination plants for water. If the strait is closed for long, then there would be food shortages there, which means the amount of people working there would have to be reduced. And already some have lost their jobs, according to some reports.
He then commented on what could happen due to these declines.
Our reserves would start to come down because already today I saw in the papers the reserves have come to around $7 billion and even less than that. Reserves end of February was at $7.3 billion. Now it's come to less than $7 billion. And according to the central bank, the short-term drain on reserves would be in the next 12 months be around $2.14 billion. So that's going to be a bit of a hit for us because according to the December IMF country report, the projections for our reserves to be at the end of this year, it should be around $8.9 billion. If we dip further, it will become a reality that we would not be able to achieve that. The second thing is, by the end of 2027, our reserves are projected to be at $13.4 billion. So from $8.9 billion the end of this year to $13.4 billion at the end of next year means next year in 2027, the reserves have to go up by $4.5 billion. And how will they go up? 1/3 of that increase, around $1.5 billion, is expected to come from an international sovereign bond, which we are expected to issue next year. If the current reserves keep going down, it will become almost impossible to issue it next year because we have to get our credit ratings up. So that is where the major hurdle will come to Sri Lanka. For example, the reserves don't go up, then the confidence also starts going down. Because even currently, if you look at the rating agencies by the global trade rating firms, we are at C, so which means a real possibility of default.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
Anura Karunatilaka was sworn in as the Minister of Energy before President Anura Kumara Dissanayake today. In addition to the energy portfolio, Karunatilaka holds the position of Minister of Ports and Civil Aviation. His appointment comes following the resignation of Kumar Jayakudi as Minister of Energy. A forged document is currently circulating on social media falsely claiming that Hiru Media Network has requested police protection for its staff members. We wish to strongly emphasize that we have not requested police protection in any manner whatsoever and that this is an entirely fabricated document. Police media spokesperson Assistant Superintendent of Police F.U. Vootler has also confirmed that this is a fraudulent document and that Hiru Media Network has never at any point requested police protection. We are already taking legal action against those responsible for creating this forged document. Furthermore, several fact-checking websites have independently verified that the document being circulated on social media is false. We wish to make it absolutely clear that forging documents and resorting to such despicable tactics will never intimidate Hiru Media Network. We also state that the threats, intimidations and insults directed at Hiru, a media outlet committing to serving the people, are dismissed with the contempt they deserve. Despite the threats posed to the media freedom, Hiru has always carried out its duty as a people's media service for the nation. And no matter what threats or intimidations come our way, we remain fully committed to fulfilling our media responsibilities to you, our audience, without compromise. Additionally, in a strong response to the letter sent by the Minister K.D. Lalkantha to Hiru News, we will be responding to him through our legal team within the next 24 hours.
Now for some news in brief.
Former Minister P.S. Senagamage, who was arrested by the Bribery Commission over corruption allegations, was released on bail by the Colombo Magistrates Court.
The business news on Gold FM.
The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange closed at 22,570.03 points after declining by 203.26 points today. The S&P SL 20 index also declined by 41.51 to close at 6,222.79 points. Turnover totaled 4.1 billion rupees.
International news on Gold FM.
The Iranian government says it has no plans regarding a new round of talks. The Iranian Foreign Ministry described the government's stance towards the United States as one of reasonable pessimism during a press briefing in Tehran today. Now, this decision follows a spokesperson Esmail Baghaei telling reporters that while Iran remains realistic, it certainly does not feel optimistic about future dealings with Washington. The decision follows a military operation where US forces intercepted and seized an Iranian cargo vessel attempting to navigate a blockade of the country's ports. While the Iranian military vowed retaliation, reports from Tehran suggest drone deployments against US assets resulted in no confirmed damage. Now, this came against a backdrop where the US President Donald Trump has also said in an interview with Fox News a short while ago that an Iran deal could be signed today in Pakistan, contrasting the Iranian reports. He also added that the US Vice President J.D. Vance and the delegation are ready and en route to Islamabad for its talks.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
5 leading cultural institutions have been shortlisted for the Art Fund Museum of the Year, which carries a £120,000 prize. The finalists include Norwich Castle, Fitzwilliam Museum, The Box, along with London's National Gallery and the V&A East Storehouse. The winner will be announced on the 25th of June at the Cutty's Ark.
Sports news on Gold FM.
The New Zealand under 85 kg rugby team will arrive in Sri Lanka tonight for a 2-match series with Sri Lanka's national side. The opening encounter kicks off under floodlights at the Racecourse Grounds on Saturday, the 25th of April at 7 p.m. The series then moves to Kandy for the second fixture, scheduled at the Nittavela Grounds on Sunday, the 3rd of May, with a 4 p.m. kickoff. Sri Lanka will be led by Lasindhu Karunatilaka. And that's it from the news for tonight. I'm Avinindra Soma for Gold FM News.